Strange Case Files. Episode 1. The Flannan Isles Disappearance. On December 15, 1900, a keeper wrote the morning weather readings in a steady hand, with hours left to live. By nightfall, all three keepers had vanished from an island you can cross on foot in minutes, leaving no trace. The half-eaten meal, the overturned chair, and the crying keeper were invented by later writers, and the real records are darker. 20 miles west of Scotland's Outer Hebrides lie the Flannan Isles, 7 uninhabited rocks that sailors called the Seven Hunters. In 1899, the Northern Lighthouse Board finished a lighthouse on the largest rock, Elian Moor, as its first winter approached. James Ducat, the principal, Thomas Marshall, his assistant, and Donald MacArthur, filling in. MacArthur was only there because the regular assistant, William Ross, lay sick ashore, a substitution that would cost him his life. Superintendent Robert Muirhead had personally chosen all 3 men, visiting the rock on December 7th when the relief boat called. Muirhead later recalled, with melancholy, that he was the last man from shore to shake their hands and bid them adieu. 20 miles east, a gamekeeper's family on the mainland was paid to watch each night and record whether the light appeared. Their logbook survives. Light seen December 7th. Hidden by haze 4 nights. Seen the 12th. Then never again. Inside the lighthouse, the official log ran through December 13th, filled with ordinary entries about weather, wind, and daily routine. The 14th's readings waited on a slate, and beneath them sat the 15th's figures, taken calmly at 9 that morning. Later that Saturday morning, someone cleaned the lamp, filled the oil fountains, and polished the lens until every duty was complete. Sometime that afternoon, all 3 men left the station, and the door closed behind them for the last time. At midnight, the steamer Arctur passed in heavy weather, and Captain Holman looked for the new light but found only darkness. For 10 more nights, no light appeared, and though the watchers ashore grew uneasy, hazy winters had hidden the lamp before. The tender Hesperus arrived at noon on December 26th for the routine relief, and found no flag flying and nobody waiting. Captain Harvey sounded the whistle, then the siren, then fired a rocket over the island, and nothing on the rock moved. A boat was lowered, and relief keeper Joseph Moore jumped ashore alone at the east landing and climbed toward the lighthouse. He found the gate closed and the outer doors shut, but inside, the kitchen door stood open beside a cold fireplace. The fire had been dead for days. The clock had stopped, and the beds had lain empty since dawn. Moore later wrote that he only too well knew something serious had occurred, and he ran back down to the boat. In the light room, everything sat in proper order, the lamp cleaned, the fountain full, and the blinds drawn, ready for lighting. Harvey's telegram reached the mainland that evening, reporting a dreadful accident had happened at Flannan's, and the 3 keepers had disappeared. Moore and 3 volunteers stayed to keep the light burning, and for 2 days they walked the island end to end. The east landing was untouched, with every rope coiled where the men had stored them after the relief on December 7th. The west side told another story. A box of mooring ropes had vanished from its crevice high above the sea. Its ropes lay strewn across the rocks below, still coiled and never unfastened, proof the men had not touched them. Iron railings stood bent and twisted from their foundations, and a stone weighing a ton had been carried down the path. A life buoy lashed to the railings was simply gone, and shreds of canvas still clung to its untouched ropes. Superintendent Muirhead landed on December 29th, and after examining the ropes, the railings, and the stone, reached one chilling conclusion. No human hand had removed that buoy, for the sea itself had torn it through railings 110 feet up. Then came the clothing, for Marshall's oilskins and boots were missing, and Ducat's boots and old waterproof were gone as well. But MacArthur's overcoat still hung inside, meaning the substitute keeper had walked into a vicious December gale in his shirt sleeves. The rules said one keeper must always remain inside the station, yet something, or someone, made MacArthur break that rule. Muirhead's reconstruction had Ducat and Marshall going down that afternoon to secure the rope box before the storm could claim it. From the station, MacArthur perhaps saw what they could not: a massive wall of water rising behind them from the sea. He ran without his coat, and an unexpectedly large roller, in Muirhead's words, swept all three away with resistless force. Muirhead weighed whether wind took them, but the gale blew onshore and would have thrown them inland, not seaward. The west landing sits above a narrow gully where swells compress and burst upward, far higher than any open water wave. The board recorded its verdict. Washed away while securing gear, the poor widows were informed, and the case was closed. In 1912, a poet who never saw the island published Flannan, inventing an untouched meal and an overturned chair. Generations repeated his fictions as fact, though Moore's letter records only empty beds, a tidy kitchen, no meal, and no chair. Pulp writers invented log entries about a storm no station recorded, a weeping keeper, and the words, "God is over all." The real record ends on a slate of weather readings, taken at 9 that morning by men with hours to live. The truth needs no ghosts, only 3 careful men, 1 broken rule, and a sea that climbed 110 feet. What do you think made MacArthur run without his coat? Share your theory below and leave a like to help the channel grow. The light on Ilion Moor still turns every night, guarding sailors and keeping silent watch over James, Thomas, and Donald. This strange case file is closed and the truth remains. See you at the next one.